This is Newcap News with Michaela Henschel.
Good evening. Taxes are going up in Lloydminster in large part to old revenue sources becoming unsustainable. Another priority for the city is replenishing the reserve. Our Josh Ryan has more.
A decade ago, the city of Lloydminster had millions of dollars in reserves. Last year, that number was less than $200,000, which City Council is determined to change.
Reserves can come in many different formats to be used at different times, so we hope we don't have to draw on them. So having some reserves in case of a serious situation could be very beneficial.
Many of Lloydminster's capital projects are focused on issues that have been left alone for years and would mean a hefty sum if problems arise.
We have infrastructure that's 50 plus years old that's going to continue to deteriorate and cause problems, and usually in the winter rather than in the summer. We have facilities that are going to need to be maintained and sooner or later replaced. So we need to budget for those things and identify it.
Water and sewer mains remain chief among those priorities.
Water is essential to life, and if it's not flowing, people do have concerns. And if it's in the middle of winter and we have a break that we have to tear up 2 blocks for whatever reason because we have a serious frost heave, that's going to cost an awful lot of money.
However, that only begins to cover the list of items that could require immediate action, such as the large number of grass fires this spring.
If for some reason that we had a major road failure of some sort, that would be the same thing. You know, police and fire are also in that realm of the 5 majors. But
another reason for increasing the city's reserve is the uncertainty around budget time that comes with being a border city. There's no guarantee that the 2 provincial governments will provide the necessary funding for vital projects in 2019.
We don't want to try and simply build everything up in 1 year. This is a long-term strategy that we want to employ.
And if the reserve increases to a safe number, the city can use it sparingly to lessen the burden on taxpayers.
There will be some reserves that people can say, yes, City Council can actually use some reserve money to pay for that next capital project or portion of it and not have to simply take it out of the taxpayers that year.
Josh Ryan, Newcap News.
Well, an investigation is ongoing after RCMP were called to a possible explosive device found near 47th Ave and 50th Street on Tuesday. On scene, police found what appeared to be a small hand grenade sitting in a stack of pallets. The explosives disposal unit was called from Edmonton to handle the device.
They seized that device and took that back to Edmonton with them, where they will be investigating it to determine the nature of that device.
The incident is under investigation to determine where the device came from and who placed it there. Anyone with information is asked to contact Lloydminster RCMP. One other aspect of being safe on the farm is having a conversation with kids about the proper use of all-terrain vehicles, or ATVs. Gerard Lampow meets an expert who is volunteering his time with kids.
The proper use of all-terrain vehicles was in focus as Grade 4 kids were on board for Farm Safety Day at the Lloyd X. Gordon Hart says the size of the ATV must be appropriate for kids.
Some of the things they should be checking prior to riding, how to check the machine over, wearing the proper equipment and everything, some gloves, eye protection, proper helmets, make sure they're fitting properly, make sure they ask for permission before riding the ATVs, and also to tell somebody where they're going when they're going out, and to always ride with a partner.
Hart urges parents to check with manufacturers for recommended ages, as matching the power of a vehicle with experience is another factor. Alberta Health Services advises that no one under the age of 16 should ride an ATV. They point out that children under 16 make up 20% of ATV-related fatalities since 2010. Added to the AHS position of no under 16 ATV operators are passenger and alcohol restrictions, as well as licensing, registration, and training. The AHS recognizes that ATVs are used for transportation and ag-related activities. Hart wants kids to be safe.
For most of the kids here, they're riding under 90cc bikes and everything. We're trying to educate them not to be riding the adult machines, which require you to be 16 years of age and older to be operating, due to the weight and size of the machines versus their weight and size, that they can't properly control the machines when they're out riding.
Kids being kids are trying out the big ATVs, and some have been riding without permission. Hart has shown his own kids why it's not safe.
My youngest one, when she was 16, I took her out and showed her that even though she's 16, the proper age for riding the machine, she can't handle the machine on her own.
These grade 4 kids got a new understanding of ATV use.
I learned about the brakes and that it's important that you know that you can be strong enough to drive a big one.
You have to, when you get off, you have to put the brakes back before, just in case if the AT moves.
Gerard Lampow, Newcap News.
Well, the City of Lloydminster is putting mental health at the forefront. Today, city officials and local organizations came together to start the conversation around postpartum depression. Councillor Michael Diachuk signed the proclamation making May 9th Maternity Mental Health Day in Lloydminster, something he says is important for the city to grow.
In part, what this proclamation does is honor the fact that mothers play a key role in our society, and these are some of the challenges that they go through, and what we, as any community that wishes to be successful and develop its assets, needs to provide the kind of support.
It's really nice to see that we have something here in our community local so that moms can get the support that they need.
Krista Holden dealt with postpartum depression after giving birth to her son. While maternal mental health is the main focus, Holden stresses that postpartum depression reaches further than just moms.
I think we want to start talking about just mental health and family mental health and making sure that as a family unit that we're healthy and happy.
Anyone looking for support in Lloydminster can attend the Mother's First group every Thursday at Midwest Family Connections. And Bud Miller Park is about to be bursting with color ahead of one of the more popular events. May 26th marks the return of the annual Be Fisher Color in Fun Run. The 5-kilometer run aims to raise money and awareness for people with developmental disabilities.
A couple of big reasons for having an event like this. One is it just helps create a lot of awareness for what do we do with the B. Fisher Center and how we can help out the clientele that we serve. And as well, it's a fundraising opportunity just to help us gather some funds that we wouldn't get from other sources.
The Bud Miller Park Picnic Center will host the event again this year. Last year, the event saw almost 600 people participate. This year, the foundation anticipates a similar turnout.
If we could, I'd love to see the number even get up to 650, 700 people come out for an event like this. That kind of numbers creates an awful lot of fun atmosphere in there.
All the funds from the run go towards the B. Fisher organization. Well, grade 4 to 6 students at Rendell Park have been working hard on their hip-hop moves. As we see in this week's Beyond the Classroom, the dance program is benefiting students in more ways than one. The dance program has been well received at Rendell Park. Students who aren't interested in partaking in mainstream sports can instead enjoy physical activity with an artistic flair.
A lot of times, I know me in phys ed when I was growing up, you don't necessarily enjoy all the things that you're learning, and lots of kids have that creative, artistic kind of mindset.
Incorporating physical activity throughout the school day not only provides health benefits, it also enhances performance in the classroom.
There are definitely different ways that children learn, and so once they go back to the classroom after getting some movement in, they might be able to focus better, retain that knowledge, the stuff that they're learning in class much better after some movement time.
It's really fun because it's not like you're really working and you get to dance and work at the same time.
For students like Cadence who are already enrolled in dance, the program provides extra opportunity to work on technique outside of the studio.
It just helps with my corrections and my just dancing in general.
And for students who have never taken dance before, the program allows them to explore new avenues and show off their hard work.
I just wanted to go with all my friends and actually perform in the Christmas concert.
This is Newcap Sports.
The Lloydminster Comprehensive Barons have taken their fair share of lumps on the rugby pitch, but this year is much different. The team's play at a weekend tournament is solidifying their position as a team to beat with the provincials approaching, and the reason may surprise you. Our Lance Phillips has more.
Take it and swing the ball back the opposite way.
2018 certainly looks like the Barons' year to roll at provincials. The team is 5-0 and has a staggering plus 228 point differential. At this past weekend's Shaw Cup, the girls rolled to a championship with a 4-0 record and 173 points scored to 5 against. For 3 seasons, the head coaching duties have fallen on Mark Grillandini, and this is the best girls rugby team he's witnessed.
They're a very aggressive group, they're a very fast group, and they play as a unit. They're understanding the system, and they keep improving each and every game.
So far, we haven't lost any games. We're doing fantastic. They're picking up their positions really quickly, where last year we had a little bit of issue with that, but this year it looks pretty promising.
Up, throw it, and then you have
The team boasts nearly 30 players, a handful of which are grade 11 and 12s. First-year grade 10 athletes constitute most of the squad and are an integral part to the team's early success.
Oh, that's point defense, she dropped.
The grade 10s did exceptional. They were standouts for us, and they helped lead the way. And a lot of them were players of the game for that weekend.
Next year, they're going to be the ones who are carrying this team forward. We're not going to be here, so we're trying to relay everything that we know as grade 12s to the grade 10s. But they have lots of drive. They're willing to learn. They pick up everything. They're kind of like little sponges absorbing everything, so it's great.
They're huge, yeah. They're doing really good. And I think they all came from middle schools that really brought them up. And, yeah, they all really know what they're doing.
And for some of these Barons, if history has told them anything, it's that success isn't easy to come by.
We were actually going to go in there with the thought of that we weren't going to do that amazing, because they did beat us a little bit last year by quite a few points, but this year we crushed them. We didn't lose any points until the last game when we put all of our rookies out there, so I was pretty impressed by them.
It was my first tournament, so I didn't really know what to expect, and I didn't know what the other teams would be like, but it was crazy. We were just so much ahead of everyone else.
That dominance has the team believing that 2018 provincial gold is a real possibility. But just like so many other great Lloydminster teams before them, the new challenge becomes finding capable opponents.
I think our first real test may show up in our first provincial game. But we are going to Saskatoon to play the Sirens on May 16th, so we don't know anything about them, so that could be a surprise game for us.
It does worry me a little bit, because then when we go to teams like Calgary and we go against the teams that do get the cream of the crop, right, they're picking all the good players that we might not have the skill set, but so far they're impressing me beyond levels that we've ever seen, so I'm pretty confident that we'll do good.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.
This is Newcap Weather with Gerard Lampau.
Welcome back, everyone. We've been having that conversation about the various weather apps and the ones on your phone and what they say from time to time. And bear in mind that from time to time, as the day goes forward, the data will change, and that is certainly what is the case there. While one model may say something, another one says the complete opposite. And the best phrase we've heard colloquially is, wait 15 minutes. It always changes. Let's put this map into motion then, see what we are dealing with. There's been the prospect of showers for Thursday as we're seeing hints of it. This is suggesting that there is some mixing out there. It's also calling the word that shall not be mentioned for the next 6 months. He is seeing it there, however. Right. Well, I won't be seeing it. And the prospect of it being a little cooler with the collapse of the jet stream tomorrow, that is also on the cards as well. We'll go with a mix of sun and cloud, yes. We'll also go with it being overcast, variably overcast and cloudy at times, and the prospect of showers at about a 30-40% chance. Some of it looks like between 3, 6 in the morning, maybe around 9 o'clock. Showers, that's all. Temperature-wise, what we're dealing with, well, cooler, yes, so 9s, that's possible. 11s out to Cold Lake, Bonnyville, Lac La Biche areas, 10 Edmonton, Vegreville areas, 6 possible in Wainwright as daytime highs for tomorrow. A string of 8s taking us into Saskatchewan, places like Maidstone and Macklin, off to Isle Across 14, 14 at Green Lake, 13 at Meadow Lake, 10 at St. Walburg. Some of those showers could track into the Battlefords area. Let's head across the country. 18 for a mix of sun and cloud in Vancouver, 12 in Edmonton, 12 as well in Regina, 21 out to Whitehorse. Variably cloudy in Yellowknife for 3. They were up at 5 earlier, heading to Winnipeg for mainly sunny skies, sitting at 11. Now heading across to Toronto, and a mix of sun and cloud, mainly sunny for the better part, sitting at 19, down from 20 earlier, 11 in Quebec, 13 in Halifax, 0 in St. John's. All of those cities seeing a mix of sun and cloud in this hour. Similar story out to Iqaluit, but they are at -7. Back on the prairies now, where it's 12, sunshine, blue skies, winds northeast at 15 kilometers per hour. But you will see the cloud cover pushing in on the overnights to the early hours of the morning, settling for 10 tomorrow as your daytime high in the Battlefords, Unity, Maidstone, St. Walburg areas. But certainly some showers on tap that could linger, some in the morning and some stronger chance looks like in the afternoon. 12 at the moment in Cold Lake, Bonneville areas, St. Paul, Lac La Biche could see 2 in the early hours of the morning, and then just 11 tomorrow as your daytime high. Wind southeast, rounding it off about 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. So the showers look like they stay largely to the south of the Lakeland region. 12 for ourselves at the moment in Lloydminster, Vermilion, Wainwright, Provost areas. And we're looking at 4 in the early hours of the morning. Could see a shower in the early hours. Yes, anywhere between 3 and heading into the morning commute, 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Looks possible, yes. 9 is what we'll settle for tomorrow. So certainly cooler, well below the seasonal average for this time of year. And looking at the winds anywhere from, let's round it off, 20 to 30 kilometers per hour. So a little windy at times. This model is giving it a 25% chance for picking up those showers at various points. So 9 Thursday, 16 Friday, and then the 20-degree weather weekend is on tap, Michaela. 24 on Saturday, 25 sunshine on Sunday. Similar story on Monday with 26, and it's even suggesting 28 on Tuesday, and then a little cool on Wednesday for 20. So that's the next 7 days. Back to you for agriculture news.
Well, with seeding season ramping up across the region, ATCO Electric is asking farmers and the ag community to call their high-load moves line before moving tall farm equipment near power lines. Contact with power lines is 100% preventable, says Dave Evans, manager of district operations. He says ATCO can measure the power lines in your field, help plan the safest route to move your equipment, and lift power lines if needed. Residents can call the high loads moves line at 1-855-277-1670.